One of the most asked questions when it comes to this next Escape from Tarkov patch is what will be in it, and I actually already made a video on that when Nikita did a podcast with Pestily, or actually it was more of like a Q&A where he answered these questions. That video is in the description, but since you're already here, Streets Part 1 I believe is going to be there. I believe Lightkeeper will be there, and I also very much believe it's going to be a wipe. So go watch that video or stick around to get the reasoning why. The other most asked question is when, and I did not do a fantastic job explaining that in that video, so here it is. We do not have an exact date from BSG. They probably will not give us one, or at least you certainly should not expect one.
Is the first iteration targeted to be for the next wipe?
This first iteration will be we plan to release it this year, before the new year.
All we have to work with is Nikita saying that they plan to still release this year, giving us 3 to 6 weeks as a window. That's the most obvious and certain time frame that we have right now, but it can get tighter depending on what you want to believe, so here's the reasoning. Based off of what they've done in the past, they've released the week before and also the week of Christmas before, so that's December 11th to the 24th as the most likely zone for that release. There's also 2 different events that will very likely happen that will narrow this down even quicker once we know they are starting or they've already started. One is the next Chronicles of Rizhi event and what we've come to know as pre-wipe events. This is almost guaranteed to be a wipe given the timing and content for this patch, so I'm expecting a big bang to finish off this patch. We just don't know when exactly. What we do know is there will be a next step to the Chronicles of Rizhi, of which these have been lasting about a week each. The next step will either involve Mechanic and or Rizhi himself. If it's Mechanic, then he will be talking to somebody about the contents of the letters that he got from Rizhi and what Sanitar was up to with Terra Group. If it's Rizhi, then he'll either have found something in or actively searching Sanitar's offices, whether it be on Shoreline or Labs or both. Now, as an example, if the next event involves Mechanic and Rizhi together, if something like that pops up, I'm taking that as at least another 2 weeks till the patch, possibly 3. 1 week for the event that we're currently on, then another for pre-wipe, including what I think will be some kind of final event in the Chronicles of Rizhi leading to the next patch. If we see everything go on sale and there's bosses or raiders everywhere, that's the telltale sign we're just days away, as well as those are always one of, if not both, the last events before a wipe. Something else that could happen too, whether it be that sale or it be the raiders everywhere or whatever it might end up happening, is if we get multiple events in the span of just a few days. That is also a telltale sign that the wipe is very close, like within a week or 2 at most. So if we get another Chronicles of Rizhi and it's just the Chronicles of Rizhi event, then we still have a couple weeks. If it is a Chronicles of Rizhi event and there's immediately something brand new that's happening the day after or a couple days after, then that could mean that the wipe will be within that 2-week span. Yes, I know that this is very confusing. Welcome to why I have a channel in the first place. If you don't want to deal with it, just know that the game is going to be wiped before the end of the year. If you don't want to worry about this stuff, then you can just sit back. BSG will do a tweet the day before they actually wipe the game. So worst case scenario, you will know the day before the wipe actually happens. Now that's the concrete stuff. Past that, we get into speculation and theories. Without even putting a tinfoil hat on or doing any of the Sons of Soon shit yet, I can reasonably speculate that the Chronicles of Rizhi stuff will bring us to the release of Lightkeeper because of his association in the past, as well as how lore heavy we know Lightkeeper will be. So if our next Chronicles of Rizhi event doesn't lead to some kind of connection to Lighthouse specifically, then I think there will be at least 2 weeks more. 1 week to do whatever we need to do with this next event, then another week to have the new event that brings us to Lighthouse. I won't actually expect more than that because I could see that as being our starting point to the quest line or whatever it will be that will lead us to meeting Lightkeeper in game. So to be clear, in case that was confusing, I can see this Chronicles of Rizhi stuff ending with what might seem like an early ending, but we pick it up ourselves in game in the new patch with a quest line from either Rizhi himself, because I do think Rizhi is going to be an NPC at some point, or Mechanic to go and meet the Lightkeeper eventually ourselves. We know there will be a quest line unlock for Lightkeeper, and we know he's going to work very differently, so I could see something like that happening. My only actual tinfoil hat Sons of Soon like theory here is revolving around that Lightkeeper will be ready for this next patch, but BSG just don't want to tell us yet because they want it to be a surprise. The reason I think that is because they said there will be a new boss without telling us which new boss it is in the next patch. The only 2 bosses that we have heard about is the Streets boss and Zerachi, aka Antlerman, who is Lightkeeper's bodyguard. And a while back, Nikita said that the Streets boss will not be coming with Streets Part 1. So my theory is this new boss is Zerachi, aka Antlerman, who again is the bodyguard for Lightkeeper, and I doubt they would add him without adding Lightkeeper. Is it possible they add Antlerman without Lightkeeper? Yes. Is it possible they're adding adding a surprise boss that we haven't heard about before? Yes. Is it possible they decided to add the Streets boss after all? Yes. We don't know anything for certain past there will be a new boss, and they aren't telling us who it is yet. So I'm taking that as a sign as it's important, and that if they did tell us who the new boss was, then it would give something away that they don't want to give away. So I just think it makes the most sense that it is at least Antlerman, and again, I don't think they would add him without Lightkeeper. So if you're someone who doesn't like wipes and or you don't want to lose your progress in general, then you are going into your last couple weeks of normal gameplay. Last we heard, BSG will stop wipes on release of Escape from Tarkov, which has no date yet. However, I am expecting at least 2 or 3 more wipes given the amount of development still left. After that, they are said to still be going with the separate system for one world that will never wipe and another that will wipe every few months or with seasons. So there is going to be a point in the future, which is going to be the full release, when the game will stop wiping. So I'm expecting to see a Tarkov TV before the release, so that will bring us new information, of course, and I know that we're going to be getting at least some kind of trailer or tease, because there ain't no way they're doing any of the things that we know they're going to be doing with this patch without some form of media, whether it be, again, that trailer, tease, or Tarkov TV to show it all off, to promote it, especially around New Year's. So one of those things will happen, and as always, I will, of course, let you guys know more once I do. In conclusion, we are heading into our last month of this current wipe, whether BSG wants to admit it or not. Things will be very different a month from now. For the latest news, be sure to follow me on Twitter and join the Discord, especially around events. I'm able to stream information much quicker there. Those are both linked below. If you like this video, there is a button for that. Subscribe for more like it, or jump into the comment section and tell me what you think Lightkeeper is going to be like. That's going to be the topic of my next video. For the latest Tarkov news, check this out. For the latest Tarkov-like news, check this out. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a nice day. See you guys.